changes, it swaps, but she's number one right now, and she's number two out of 368.
Good job. Great
And then
job.
when she
And she'll
closes,
quickly
she'll be in
catch her
first place,
in-
and then I'll be in second.
Nice. So this, at least we can do it a little faster. Yeah.
Yeah, so, bottom line with Opcity, it's just another opportunity to get leads.
Okay.
Do you know what Opcity is?
I'm assuming it was a lead generator. I
So you have no clue what it really is.
don't know what it does.
That's good, because that's how we want to report.
Yeah.
Well, Opcity is directly connected to Realtor.com.
Okay.
So what happens is when people go to Realtor.com and they search for properties, they can click, say you find a property that you like, let's say 12 Pointer. Somebody finds that house that they like, they can click on a link for more information. Well, that's kind of the alarm, fire alarm, ding, 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 for what we call Opcity, Realtor.com. That Realtor.com owns Opcity. And what happens is they immediately get a call from an operator saying, hey, I understand, I don't know the exact verbiage, but I understand you're interested in this property at 12 Pointberry. They do ask what their budget is. They will ask if they're pre-qualified. They'll ask them some base questions to kind of what's that?
Stellar.
No, she does though.
I did.
Okay, when you're done, Victoria's need help on something. She already asked me about it.
Okay, she did. Okay. Okay.
So basically an operator will pre-qualify this lead. And once they ask all the questions, they hit a button and it sends it out to all the agents in the network. So in Daytona Beach, there's, what is it, 371 agents.
Okay.
Now, based on the ranking in Opcity, because the more you close, the more deals you do, you move up in the rankings, and you supposedly are supposed to get the better leads.
Okay.
And I'll get more to that here in a
Well,
second,
that makes sense.
because you do get the better leads as you work your way up the ladder. But they'll put it out and it's called speed to lead. What happens is your phone will go off and you better hit it as quickly as you possibly can. You set up the notification so she can hear it.
So.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
Never mind. But so what happens is you get the notification, you grab it. If you win it, which there's potential to win it, if you're quick, because that's the key component to this. You can't sit on it. If it goes off, you better be quick to
2
it.
seconds, somebody's got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what they do is based on your experience and how well you do, someone will get it within a second, some get it within a second and a half, 2 seconds. There's this progression until somebody grabs it. So once you grab it, let's say you win the lead, the operator will call you and say, hey, I got a lead on the other line. They're looking at this property, they're pre-qualified up to $400,000. They want to see this home tomorrow at 3:30 and keep it, and I'll go over that in a second too. Would you like to work with this client? You have a choice to say yes or say no. I always tell people never say, always say yes.
Right, okay, what if they want to show the house tomorrow at 3 o'clock and I have a 2:15 appointment already tomorrow?
I was gonna cover that, but it's a
Okay.
good question. But what happens is you control the dialogue because you could rightfully call that person, they may need, say they want to see it today at 3:15. Then there's a 24-hour notice needed in the listing. It's not gonna happen. So you call back your client and say, well, I'm sorry, I'm gonna need to go ahead and we'll have to schedule for another day because the home's not available. And likewise, you might not be available at that time and might not know that and you may know that you're not available, but still take the lead. Because a lot of times when you talk to the people, well, I'm sorry, I'm not available at that time, but
But-
potentially I could schedule for this time.
Earlier, later, the next morning.
Exactly. So I always tell people, don't not take the lead and lose out on it.
Right,
Bottom line.
it's all about, do you want to work or
Looks like
not?
I have
Yeah.
somebody here potentially. Hang on a second. No, I don't know this name. So what you do is you get the phone call. They're going to connect you with that person. So when they connect you with that person, who do we have on Zoom, please? Hello? Who do we have on with us? Can you hear me? Hello?
You want me to get Sarah?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
They're on here. Can you hear me? Thumbs up?
Hi.
Hello,
Hello,
Oh, there he is.
can you hear me okay?
yes,
Okay, just give me a thumbs up, good. All right, so back to what is your name? Can you type it in the chat box? I can't hear you.
hang on.
But always say yes to every lead that comes in.
me now?
Sometimes I miss some of the information, always say yes. Because you find out that you can help in a different way, or sometimes they'll give you an address that's in, and don't get caught up if you see one that comes in Des Moines and you're like, Des Moines, I don't know Des Moines.
They
That's
may have
only
a s-
because originally at some point they looked at a
Can you
house
open the chat box?
and that one popped up, and then they'll say they were looking for something in Daytona Beach.
Or I was gonna say, could they not?
All right, we're just gonna
And say,
continue.
I want to.
We're talking about Opcity Realty.
Yeah, still take it, yeah, and always, 100% take
Is
it.
that what you're here for?
Infant.
Is to hear more about that?
Yeah, so find an agent in Des Moines.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
like,
I can't hear him at all.
people will wanna see,
So I hope you can hear me, because we're gonna keep chatting.
people will wanna see something and you can't show it right then, you've got showings in the morning. Find out as soon as you can, and then call them back and say, oh, I see it's available at 11, would that work?
Can you go grab Sarah? Because we can't hear him at all. So back to the Realtor.com, you get that lead, they're gonna go over it with you, you get a chance to connect with them. And that's where you can start to build and get sticky with the person that you have on the line. And what happens is when you start with OpcityRealtor.com, you've got to get your first 3 closings with them before you become an experienced agent.
Okay,
So once you get your first 3 closings, you become an experienced agent and it basically qualifies you to get better leads.
Okay, that makes sense.
I know. Abe Jabardi. Welcome, Abe.
So it's just new. We
I
can't-
know,
I can't
yes.
hear him. Yeah, I think he can hear us, obviously,
Let me just make sure
but he can hear us fine.
I can hear you, and he's not on mute. Yeah, that's weird. Mute all.
Because if he has a
no,
question or
mute.
something, I'll have to watch the chat.
Yeah, I just watched the chat. That is weird, though.
So our apologies, Abe.
Let me just, oh, it might be here. Turn it up. All right, can you say something now, Abe?
Can you hear me now?
It's just the volume. Here, we'll put it down. It was just the volume, yeah.
Our apologies.
We
Abe.
got you, darling. We got
It
you.
was on your end.
Yes. So I'm on a computer I'm not used to, so again, my apologies. So back to Realtor.City, that's what happens when you have to get your first 3 closings.
okay,
And then they'll upgrade you to an experienced agent when you can change parameters, you can change budgets. Because you have the choice to accept whatever kind of leads that you're looking for.
mhm,
Could be a manufactured home, could be a piece of land, could be a host of different things.
okay,
A lot of times though, and understand if it's like a manufactured home, we have the tendency to get a lot of lot rent
We can't
leads.
do that.
Now, and we can't do those kind of leads. So basically you return those back to Opcity. From what I understand, there is somebody in the brokerage that does have that license. You can talk to them, but predominantly they only work with listing and selling those instead of working with buyers,
right,
from what I've been told. But back to Opcity, it's definitely a speed to lead. As you see on the screen, this is a picture of Susan's Opcity. The score, you'll see the 114 score. Anywhere between 112 and 116 to 118 is good. That means you're really maximizing what OpcityRealtor.com is trying to see when it comes to your activity on the app. And as you can see, Susan is ranked #1 currently. She's
wow,
had 39 closings, and I think we're at what? She's at 11.2 million over the life of her relationship with Opcity.
it's been about 3 years.
Yes, we're a little shy of 3 years. You'll see that Regina is #2 with 18 closings and 10.2 million. Now, you may say, well, gosh, Susan's had 39 closes, Susan's had 18, why is that? Well, Regina chooses to up her budgets. She will only work with clients that are over 300,000 typically. She does adjust up and down occasionally. But her sweet spot, once you become an experienced agent, she gets to choose that. Where us as a team, that's Susan's, I'm ranked, I think, 16th right now. But we choose to work with lower leads because we don't mind doing that. And we always encourage people, not that that one is right or wrong, it's just what you're willing to accept.
Mhm.
Because to us, we want to build the relationships, we potentially want to have the referrals that those people can give,
Mhm.
that type of thing.
They all need help. And we're
Exactly,
supposed to be helping.
yes.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many people have thanked us for their
least look at you.
willingness to help them.
Mhm.
Because in particular, and I don't say this to brag, it's just we had a couple one time that had $140,000, I think, to spend
Mhm.
max. And all the agents were blowing them off because it was a time in the market when it was nuts.
Yeah.
And you basically could cherry pick who you wanted to pick.
Yeah.
And to us, we want to help everybody and
Agreed.
anybody. And if we can help that person, which, long story short, we did, we found a $140,000 house. They closed in 10 days and they were happy as happy can be. And now we've got a happy client out
That's.
there. So we always encourage people, if you're open to it, and again, not that it's right or wrong, I stress that.
Oh,
all
I
the time.
understand, there's
Yeah.
a choice.
Yes.
Yeah, like you're gonna get these calls and Opcity, I'm assuming it's big. So what area are you getting leads from?
Predominantly Volusia County, we
Oh,
go,
that's fine, okay.
and we go 30 miles out. Because once you become an experienced agent, you can pick the mile as far miles as you want to go out. You could go 45,
Mhm.
you could go 60, that will put you over into Orlando.
Correct,
Melbourne and.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
try to stay within 30 miles because we know
So-
Volusia County.
so if you are deemed a lead, you'll know what the address is?
Oh, yeah,
Usually.
That was my
Typically.
question.
Usually, but it could be a different one. You know, it can show up as Melbourne and you're like, ooh, I don't know. But the person that you're speaking with will tell you what the address is, because that may not always be the right one that they send you. As soon as the call comes in and I see the address, I immediately go to Realtor.com and then find out if it's in our MLS or where it is, but at least I have the listing, I can talk to them. And they may come on and say, no, that's not the right address, it's this one, then you gotta quickly write it down, but I always try to start with that one.
So what if you get one that doesn't make sense for you to go to?
Then
you can
you can,
release it.
yeah,
Oh,
you
just,
can
and
release it.
Opcity takes
And
it
just
back
put
and
a
sends
note.
it out again?
Yep,
Okay,
You can
okay,
go, because what will happen is you get the lead in Opcity. And what you have, it's a phone app that you put on your phone.
Mhm.
And you'll have the contact person's information, you'll have that whole file right there.
mhm.
And they can pick more properties to send to you. They could go back on Realtor.com a week from today and see another property, and as soon as they click on it, you get notified because it's your lead.
Oh, okay,
Unless you've released it.
Yeah.
You know.
But at any point, you can release the lead back to Realtor.com. Maybe you feel uncomfortable. You don't feel like you can help this client. Somebody's being too demanding. They're not pre-qualified,
Mhm.
because sometimes you'll get tire kickers that want to just see properties without getting pre-qualified.
and is there any negativity coming back to Opcity if you release?
No.
You know what I'm
I
asking?
wouldn't overdo it.
Well, I
I
don't
try
want
to keep them
yeah.
on for a while, even 2-3 months,
Mhm.
and try to convert them, like,
Mhm.
They do ask you for a reason of why you released
Yeah.
them.
as soon as
Okay.
you, like, even if you get a lot rent in, say, do you understand what this means, that you rent the lot, you do not own that land that it sits on? And they're like, no, I didn't know that, or whatever. Say, have you ever spoken to mortgage? Always try and flip them and get them into a mortgage person. Always try that first before you let them go. And if they're like, yeah, and I already talked to them, I can't do it, blah, 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 you know, and they've already gone through the channels, then you can release them then, but I always try to flip.
Right,
You know, always talk to them, because you will be surprised how many you can flip over, and they didn't have,
They
they
didn't think
didn't
about it.
understand, it was too big of a project to think about.
Mhm.
Going through a mortgage, I'm like, it's super simple, answer a few questions, can I have someone call you? And then have your mortgage person call them,
Okay, perfect, okay,
So,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Well, there's a number of rental leads, because some people will turn on rental leads just to be able to talk to them.
Right.
And sometimes you can convert a rental lead into a purchase. So it really just, the sky is the limit on how you want to work with this and what you're willing to take. Because again, some agents will only want a certain price. And we'll take down to, I think mine's at 100,000. What is yours?
I think mine's 150.
Yeah.
And I go back and forth between 150 and 300.
And so you can change it when you want.
Yep, and that seems to stimulate leads sometimes. If it seems stale, like, gosh, I haven't heard from them, make a change, leave it for a day, a couple days or a week, and then change back. But you won't have that freedom for a little while until you close 3 deals. And then you can have some freedom in doing that, you know.
Mhm.
And as far as the 3 deals, they really just, I think, are testing your perseverance.
Mhm.
Are you
Because they're
gonna
not
work?
easy, they're not easy leads.
Right, are you gonna work?
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest complaints you'll hear from other agents is, man, it's tough to cut your teeth on that Realtor.com, and it is. She's worked for 3 years to get to this point.
But look where you, I mean, it's work.
But
Yeah,
listen,
Look where you at.
we've gotten $60,000-$70,000 leads. You know what they want? They want a lot.
Mhm.
Then you get them a lot, they want to build a house and you get them in touch with a builder, now you make
That-
commission on the house and you
Yeah.
make, and these people thought, oh, it's 60,000, I'm not gonna bother, now it turned into 300 or more.
Or more.
So we've done that too, so
Okay.
always get
Ask the
them,
question.
and unknowns will come through. We have had more unknowns that are at the $1 million or more mark, they're not gonna tell that little realtor.com girl how much money they want to spend, so it comes in as an unknown.
Mhm.
And they're like, just get me to a realtor and I'll talk to her, comes in unknown,
Take it.
people won't take it because they think
It's
it's
a
not a good lead, yeah. And we've done really well with unknowns,
That's a
always
great,
get the
that's a
unknown.
great.
Yeah, grab 'em.
I always like to
That's a great-
remind people, these people are raising their hands and saying, we're interested in real estate.
Right,
And that's the hardest part to get to, especially for a new agent,
Mhm.
getting the leads, getting
Absolutely.
your pipeline moving. So when you can even just have a conversation with people, it's, I mean, it's perfect. I mean, the other brokerage we just came from, we had a brand new agent that's just started February of last year, got her license. And cut her teeth on Opcity, took it, ran with it. Her lowest closing was $6,000 on a piece of land.
Yep.
She made up $240 in commission, but
But you know what? She had a closing.
that's right.
exactly.
So
She-
that's one of three.
She picked up a listing, she picked up this, she picked up that.
What about the referral?
Yeah, and long story short, at the end of the year, I think Opcity, brand new agent it was like $40,000 in income to them.
Mhm.
So it was just, she just put her nose to the grindstone, and because that's what we told her, you gotta push through it. Cause I'll tell you, it's well worth it.
Every person that calls in, every single lead knows other people.
Mhm.
So even if you can't work with them, you friend them, you get sticky with them, send them your business card immediately, stay with them, stick with them. Next thing you know, their mom's buying.
Mhm.
Their friend is
Oh, I
buying.
remember her. She really.
Yes,
was-
right, and
talked to
stay
me
with
and-
them all the time, I update all the time, every day I start my day updating those. And chat with them, take notes if they say going on vacation or whatever, you know, I won't be back for a few weeks, put it in my book. Look, that's what all these are. All the yellow marks are the people's names. So if one of my clients, Scotty, I can quickly find Scotty in yellow, you know, these are all my leads. So I never leave this home, it stays with me all the time, and I write down everything they tell me. And I know exactly what they want, and then I go back, hey, how did your dog do? Last time we spoke, they were at the vet, did everything turn out okay? Cause I wrote it down, and now I remember, you know,
Mhm.
and that keeps them sticky with you, and that's how you get referrals,
Yeah.
so.
And that's the key to any referral. It
Mhm.
really is. And Realtor.com, Opcity, we just always remind people that it's another silo to help you find the business that you're looking for.
Mhm.
Like you've got
Sure,
the
just
72.
calling people.
Yeah, you've got the 72 thing that you're doing.
Mhm.
You start building your referrals, you got
Mhm.
friends, you had that friend that was gonna list their house. They gave you a chance to sell it. Just, again, you're just putting so much into a funnel and then the other stuff squeaks out. So if you can add 2 or 3 Opcities a month potentially, or,
To what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
I know.
yeah, and all of a sudden you got a closing here, you got a closing there, you got this one here and this one here. You've got all this good business working. And this is a great tool, and you just gotta, like I said, you gotta be patient, you gotta persevere through it. And the people that do
well.
fantastic. Now, on this side of it, what's neat about this Realtor.com, these leads are free. Leads, until you
Okay.
close them.
Like the 72.
Once you close them is when you pay the fee to Realtor.com. Base fee is 30%. Anything under $150,000, you pay 30% back to them at closing.
Okay,
Anything over 150 is 35%.
okay,
At one time, which they've stopped it, but there's some people still grandfathered in, they had what was called, what was it, buyer rewards program, where that was 38%. They've stopped that now, and they're experimenting with some other programs, so right now it's 30 and 35. We have some stuff, people that had it from before, so they still get that. But what it means is you get those leads at no charge, which, as you guys
I'm not getting
know,
mine for free,
there's no free leads out there typically.
right, and the other company gets, I pay upfront, and then they still get 25%.
Yeah.
So net.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
A lot of these lead services want money up front.
Yeah,
Zillow's famous for it. We tried Zillow
72
before.
sold.
We got terrible leads. So this is a great source of leads. You get very hungry. When you start hearing this sound of the Opcity going off. I'm gonna play the sound for you. This is the sound you will hear.
it's obvious.
Yeah,
We call that the money
money
alert.
ding.
yeah.
Yeah, we even taught our kids to grab the phone
Mhm.
to grab it, because again, it's speed to lead. If someone else gets it, it's gone.
It's a green button that says claim. So we taught our kids, hit it and claim and come find me. You know, if I'm not standing right there, if I'm in the bathroom or whatever, slide the phone in, because the phone will ring. So you have like 30, 45 seconds
Seconds.
before your phone rings. So in that time, I try to find the listing, so I know what I'm talking about.
Sometimes you don't have enough time to look up the list.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And sometimes they'll just have questions about
Right.
it. Every call is different.
Mhm.
So you take the call as you go. There's no set script. It's just the agent will tell you they saw this property at this address. Well, like she said, sometimes the addresses don't match up. So just feel your client out, have something to write on potentially, so you can take some notes. And then the best case thing is, let me make some phone calls and I'll get back to you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You want to see it? Let me see when I can call and make an appointment.
In the
I'll follow up.
meantime, I'll send you my business card, and I send the business card and I say, here's my business card. It was great speaking with you. Feel free to contact me with any questions. You know, you can call or text or email, and I will get those questions answered for you,
How do you get in your business card?
through text,
Okay.
because you have their phone number.
And you can simply take a picture of your business card. and
Yeah,
just
that's
send
what
it
we
to
do.
them.
That's how we do it. And then you go to your app and you update your app. You spoke with them, you're gonna show them properties or whatever, and then there's a contact through inbox. So you wanna also use Opcities. They like you to communicate to your client through them. I'll just send that message and say, hey, it was great speaking with you. Be on the lookout for my business card. I've just sent it to you. That satisfies Opcity. That's what keeps this at 114 or whatever. That keeps that number happy, is by
Responding.
communicating through. You only have to do it once or twice and you've satisfied them.
But
So,
you do need to update the leads every
Yeah,
7
and-
days,
yeah, you have
or
to.
they'll shut you off.
Mhm.
Now, an update is optional. You just gotta push the update button.
Yeah, we'll show you how to walk through all that.
But that's, yeah, it's very important that you do that.
Mhm.
So again, back to it, it's a free lead, you don't pay for it until closing, which is
Okay.
wonderful.
That is a
Because
good.
Mhm.
then you get paid, they get paid, Keller gets paid, everybody gets paid. And Nicole is wonderful because she'll break the check down and they'll send that check directly to Opcity. You get your check and Keller Williams gets their check.
And it's all done.
Everybody, everybody's happy
Start
camper.
for closing and get everything.
There is some updates you have to make in here, because once you go under contract, you have to you gotta acknowledge that it has gone under contract,
Mhm.
because they track it also. As you can imagine, with this kind of app, they make millions of dollars every year off this
Well,
program.
of course, and Realtor.com is big.
Yes, so
Yes.
they've got certain rules that you have to follow.
Okay.
But you gotta update it immediately after you get the call. Okay, we spoke, we're gonna look for properties.
If you look at the app, up here in this top right corner, it says snooze. You can hit that snooze button and then a screen will pop up. This is 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours worth. And
So you could snooze it for how long?
So if you're in a doctor's appointment, you could
Yes.
snooze it for an hour.
I would wait until
You had to.
you're in the room,
Mhm.
waiting on the doctor, and then doctor walks in, snooze 1 hour or whatever, and as soon as you get done, you can unsnooze it. I do that like at church.
Mhm.
I will wait till the singing and everything's over, and when preacher comes up on it, then I hit snooze 1 hour, and then I unsnooze it when we're walking back out.
But if you know you're gonna be busy.
Yeah, if you're meeting with a client or somebody, you don't want this thing going off
Oh, absolutely.
when you're already with somebody, so I would
You're at a
snooze it
listing
then.
appointment,
Mhm.
that's your focus.
Yeah,
Right.
you don't want to be distracted.
Right,
Okay,
so
that's
so
a
use
good
that when
point.
you need it,
Mhm.
And driving too. If
yeah,
you know you got a 1 hour drive,
right.
snooze it while you're driving, because you don't want to try to grab an Opcity while you're driving and have a car accident.
Well, yeah,
I mean, that's just it.
I can see people doing that. though.
I'll hit it, cause you don't have to like fumble around, but I'll hit it, grab it, answer the phone and I can't write, cause I'm
Sure.
driving, or I pull over all the
But
time,
I was gonna say, I
yeah,
have the Bluetooth and all of
Yes,
that. I
so
really
you
hit
can do
answer and
that.
pull over
Yep.
and,
Yeah.
We always preface that it's your choice. how you make it.
right, but I'm saying, drive smart, don't hurt somebody
no,
else.
no, right, we always just pull over, and there's two of us,
Mhm.
so if one goes off, the other one grabs the phone, so
Right.
it works good when someone's in your car.
It's nice when we have a husband-wife team.
Yeah,
She can grab it.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. That's all. I see, because you actually spend so much more time together. I think that's,
We do,
I wish I could.
All
tell my
day, every
husband
day.
to, Yeah,
yeah, right.
We have fun, we enjoy it.
yeah, but you do your other stuff too. That's,
Oh, absolutely.
you don't give up because you're together. You can do so twice as much.
We're together 24/7. Yeah, we're always together, so.
Any questions so far?
No, I think I understand it.
Abe, any questions at all?
Not so far.
So, as you dive into the app, you'll, like I say, you'll see the rankings, you'll see the different people that are closing. And all the different activity, again, Regina's number 2, Susan's number 1, so it's nice to see Keller Williams at the top of the totem pole up there. And, there's a lot of other agents. One thing I know, Rick, they requires you have to go through a little training for a couple weeks before they put you on the app.
Okay,
Because there is an agreement that you have to sign. You can't be on the app and not claim leads. Because if you're getting these leads and you're not claiming them, you get dinged for that. There's a score, there's a brokerage score, and then there's individual score. Your individual score will go down first. The brokerage will get hurt also, which means all the agents get hurt if you're not claiming the leads. So it's very important, and you have to sign an agreement with Keller that you're gonna work it the way you need to work it. Or you'll be immediately, and I'm not saying this to be negative, you'll just be immediately removed from the app.
fair enough.
Well, it's good for everybody. The algorithm stays high if
Mhm.
everybody's doing it the right way.
Mhm.
So you gotta be grabbing leads, you gotta be working it. When you grab a lead, they do get notified of any leads that come in that people got. So
Okay.
if we grab a lead,
It goes to the office.
Justin gets it, Rick, it's just a notification that, hey, Susan got a lead for X. Blah, blah, blah. It just lets them know, hey, Opcity is working for us, we're getting good leads. The leads are not always true to blue. Someone might say they've got a $400,000 budget and they're only looking at a $60,000 property. So just know if sometimes it says that, it's not always what it says.
Right,
Like she said, you get a lot of unknown budgets,
that's okay.
yeah,
Mhm.
which I like,
I grab
we
all
like.
of them.
You
running.
just help them figure out what your
We
budget
pick
is.
up everyone
Uh-huh.
and then we figure it out
Mhm.
and try and figure a way to make it work.
And when
And
you,
if we can,
and if there's no answer at the end, then you just give it
Right.
back.
And that's really the best way to do it, is just
Mhm.
grab them all and see what you can do with it.
Mhm. I would agree with that.
And don't
Like
feel
this.
bad about it, just grab as many leads as you can, if it goes up, grab it.
and don't go fast too. I've had my phone in my hand, bing, boom, hit, gone. Gone just that fast. Cause it seems like there's rings as they come around, like the first ring, they have a little more than the next level, than the next level. So sometimes both our phones will go off. Or mine will go off and I'll hit it and miss it, so it's already claimed, and then his will go off. Well, he knows it's already claimed. He still tries to claim it. Always try and claim it. Even if you cannot answer your phone, try and claim it, because if you just leave those and don't claim them,
They'll think you don't want.
they think you don't want them and they won't send you any more leads.
Okay,
So
so
always,
try to claim
always
it
claim it.
and then figure
Either
out what to
snooze
do.
or claim. Those are the two options.
And
Snooze
so
or
the
claim.
snooze don't hurt you
Snooze
either.
does not hurt you.
Okay. Now what, Are they doing this 24 hours a day?
No, they stop in the evening. I've gotten
Could
some
most-
late,
The latest we've got leads is 10 o'clock.
yeah,
Okay,
and that's like people in California,
well, it's
you
7 o'clock.
know, yeah, so it's still 7 over there, so sometimes, so we grab those, a lot of people stop theirs, they don't wanna hear about it after 6 o'clock at night, we leave ours on,
You can
because
set
it's
it up,
rare,
Yeah, I'd be good to like actually go with that.
yeah, it's rare.
you can set it
Very
up to where
rare.
you take no calls until 8 o'clock in the morning. It shuts off at 9 o'clock at night. So it has that in there,
You
that you
can-
can set that up.
Yeah.
Um,
Like people that work part-time jobs, they can snooze during those hours, and they just kind of set it,
Well, that makes sense.
yeah, so they can go to work, and then on their lunch hour, they might unsnooze it.
But they might be
and
that
reset.
person that's getting all of it 8 o'clock at night too.
I know, that's right,
Or the
but if you-
weekends.
right, yeah,
If you know you can't be on the phone, make sure you snooze,
Okay,
because you will get dinged for missing them. Because you don't want to have the phone on and you get 30 leads come in,
and you didn't even
you
try.
didn't try that your score sinks
plus it will
quickly.
drive you crazy, knowing that that thing's going off, you know, and you can't answer it.
But even if you got your phone on vibrate, you go back to your phone, it's like, oh my goodness, I missed all
Yeah.
these leads.
Yeah.
Opcity takes note of that and they lower your score.
So either have your phone on and be working or don't be working.
Yep.
That's
Snooze or
why-
claim.
That's why the brokerage, you've got to be serious about taking the leads.
With it, no, I'm, because the brokerage is part of the team, you gotta work.
Right,
You don't need somebody on your team that's not working.
right.
And that's
I
really
agree
the
with that.
accountability piece, because it will hurt everybody if you don't take the leads. Because every other brokers, there's 371 agents on the app in this region. How far the region goes, I'm not sure, but,
When I first started, there was only like 170 on there. So I got more leads, there was a lot less realtors, but keep in mind, 371, 20% of them are working in, the others are not.
Yeah, but when you look
So-
at Volusia County,
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of homes in Volusia County.
Yeah,
There's
people
enough
go
for
to
everybody.
Realtor.com first to
They
look for a
do.
house,
They
or
do.
Zillow,
Zillow, yeah.
yeah, so
yeah.
it's still.
Yeah.
It's still a good lead
No,
source.
that's,
And
I
what
did not
happens-
realize it was part, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
That's right.
No, keep
I
asking,
didn't realize it was part of Realtors.com. I
Yeah.
mean, that changes the whole
right,
concept
right.
of what you're getting.
Mhm.
Realtor.com is the #1 real estate website in the world.
Mhm.
So people go to that to find and locate properties. Zillow's right behind it. And keep in mind, sometimes people will go to Realtor, Zillow,
Mhm.
and look at the different things. And so they may get multiple phone calls from agents, because it's a whole different agent from Zillow.
Mhm.
So don't think it's your exclusive lead, because they may say, oh, I got 3 or 4 agents calling me.
Mhm.
Well, they may have went to Zillow or whatever, like your client on the listing, he was checking his listing out. He was on Zillow, he was on Realtor.com, so,
And he should have had no problem with
yeah,
that.
it happened. So when somebody, did you have a question?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't have my phone.
Go ahead.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
Oh, okay. So it's just, people will call different times, they get calls for mortgage, because mortgage is on Realtor.com too.
Mhm.
They make money that way also.
Mhm.
So, because there's mortgage, they'll set up appointments with mortgage people, just so they can get that piece of the action too.
Smart business.
Yes, and these are all people that have accepted the Realtor.com Opcity rules and know that there's a compensation that has to be paid to get those leads.
It's fair.
Yeah, well, we always tell people a percentage of something is better than a percentage of nothing.
Oh, I'll take,
Yeah,
I
better
mean,
do that.
seriously, like my Point Bear Drive, I mean, not only do I pay the 25% to 72 sold, but this lead came out of the Jacksonville area.
Mhm.
And so I'm paying him a
Mhm.
referral fee as well.
Mhm.
So,
So you got a lot of cuts on there.
that
I'd-
one is gonna
I'd
be,
still take it,
but I
yeah.
did because I
Okay.
had to work. But the thing of it is also, as soon as I talk to him, I got to buy or sell.
yes,
And that I don't have to
Yes.
share with anyone.
right.
And so I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
don't, oh, you don't.
No.
Decide,
Oh,
oh, okay,
no.
perfect.
because
See?
the referral was for the sale of
Mhm.
this one house. And so my understanding is I don't have to pay.
Mhm.
I mean, like if you get a referral from another agent
Mhm.
to sell this house, you don't have to pay them on future business, right?
Nice. Yeah, you do, this one you do. Realtor.com.
But she got it a different way. She got a referral from
Yeah.
another Keller agent, so it's a whole.
Oh,
different
I
story.
see, I see, okay.
But Opcity is if you get this and they buy, you gotta give both sides.
Okay,
If they, yeah,
but what
Because
about future business? So
for
it,
2 years.
okay,
Mhm.
so if I
Here's
deal
what
with that
happens.
customer for 2 years and they
Yes.
buy something else, it still goes back
Yes.
to, okay.
If you get a listing lead, typically they're gonna buy somewhere else.
Mhm.
Hopefully it's local, so you get both of those deals, but you have to pay the percentage on both of
And
those.
that's, okay, but
Now, if somebody sells their house and they don't buy for 6 months, you still have to pay that back to Opcity.
for 24 months.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Up to that. Now, some leads, she's been working on one for almost 2 years. Once the 2 years passes,
Mhm.
It's yours.
It's yours.
Mhm.
Yeah, so how do you keep track of that with so many
It's easy on here.
on the app?
Yeah,
It's in
you just
here.
go back to where you started with
And
them.
believe me,
check,
Opcity tracks it.
Okay,
And we track.
because I'd be worried about, okay, a year from now, and they're talking to them, and I'm like, I don't remember that was a Keller and
you can-
It's kept all of
You
them.
can go
You see
back
what
to
I'm
your
saying?
notes and see right where it started.
Yeah.
Because we do have some that are close to 2 years or feel like it anyways, and we'll check and go, oh, it's only been a year and a half,
And
yeah.
it's very precise. I mean,
Yeah.
they're
Okay.
very on.
Well, I mean, they have a right, it's costing them a
Right.
right to do it, yeah.
And we
Yeah.
stay up front. If you have any questions about anything, check with us, check with Rick, check with Justin, if you have any questions, because you never wanna, tarnish.
Absolutely.
With
We have a
your
lot of
offsetting.
agents in our office.
Mhm.
I'm not sure.
I'm
how
not
many
sure
are
now.
on this one.
Okay, you can ask.
Well, I
They
mean,
can
it's
tell
not
you.
just curious.
Yeah. you can tell 'em.
It's not like I need to know, I was just curious.
Yeah.
So the big deal is that you have to update the leads within 7 days, and you'll get reminders that they're due. If you don't update, they will turn you off until you update, and then they'll turn you back on.
But don't get that reputation.
No, just don't panic though. If they say,
Calendarize it.
yeah, if they say, well, every morning I
You
check.
get
it.
notified.
Okay.
It's good to check it every morning too.
Mhm.
But you gotta update your leads. Also, if it goes under contract, there's another place that you update. It's under contract now and it's gonna close by a certain date. When you put that it's under contract, it's gonna ask you for closing date. It's gonna ask you for the price. It's gonna ask you some different questions to put in there. And then when it actually does close, you go in and put it closed. And then you have to send the final Alta from the title company over to Opcity so they can verify that it closed, but also what the commissions were and stuff like that.
But they're gonna notify you of everything they need
Oh, yeah.
until you,
They're
Well,
very.
that's got a transaction ID number. You gotta send a copy of the final Alta. Because then they can see what the actual commissions were, and then they get that 30 to 35% off that commission number.
right,
And they get 30% of the whole commission. So if it's a $10,000 commission, they get 30% of that, that's $3,000.
mhm.
And that's the check that gets cut to Opcity by the title company.
But that's like any other referral. or-
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's, and I'm good with that.
Yeah, I do too.
None of that scares us. I mean,
Doesn't
if
bother
we
us
can
at
have,
all.
Hey,
Susan's
you know
got
how
30.
much easier that sounds than me trying to
Mhm.
go to find somebody
Susan's
to
had
call.
39 closings, I've had 24, so that's 63 closings.
That we wouldn't have had.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So how do you have time to do like all of these open houses?
because I sit there with my phone open,
And you
and
work
if it goes
together,
off, Jamie's like,
you work together.
And
That's
that's
the
where it
big deal.
becomes the husband-wife team,
Yep.
and
Mhm.
we like doing open houses, and there's always ways to balance it out.
mhm,
Yeah, that's something I haven't done a lot of. I've done two with somebody, but I
Mhm.
haven't done open houses.
mhm,
And it's like figuring out how to make my schedule work
mhm,
with all of these different pieces.
mhm.
Yeah. As you see, we like to do the graphics and the pictures, and because it
Mhm.
just makes that open house
And-
that much more appealing.
And like you did the walkthrough, that was really nice. I thought, oh, I didn't even think about. There's so many things that I'm
Mhm.
still learning to
Just
think
all
about.
those little things,
Mhm.
just add them
We
in.
always tell people the first 6 months, it's like a fire hose.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
You've got all
Yeah.
this stuff going on and you're just absorbing. I
Mhm.
mean, the first 6 months, we worked until like midnight
Mhm.
Yeah.
with our broker that we were at. Not that you have to, but
No, I
we just,
understand.
we just dug in, we would order food in and just,
Stay and learn.
But see, that's another benefit of the
yes.
working
And
together.
also, we didn't have another salary. We were both realtors, new
So you had to
realtors,
work.
so we didn't have choice, yes,
Yeah, we had the hustle.
yeah, we had to hustle.
And these Realtor.com leads, these Opcity leads were a great way to cut our teeth
Mhm.
because it gave us that immediate income.
It
Because,
gave you something to work on
Yeah.
instead of trying to find
We
them.
learned.
Yeah, if it hadn't been for the
so
72
much.
sold, I don't know how long it would have been before I would have one.
Yeah.
And like I have that one and now I have an appointment. I have one Friday and two Saturday.
Mhm.
And so you start to finally see
Yep. Starting to slow.
Our first year on the business, it was $61,000 in income to us.
Mhm.
So that's a lot of money. So. A lot. Of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, so, and then the last 2 years, obviously, the real estate business has been very good, so you got a lot of leads that have been flowing in.
And hopefully you took care of those, right?
And now truly the shift is occurring, so there's been a little shift, there's not as many leads coming out of it. But we're still getting them,
And we're in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's
It's
the
a-
advantage
it's
we have.
fixing a ramp. As soon as March gets here,
Next
so
month,
learn
I'm trying.
everything you can now. And then when March starts ramping, you've got some of this under your belt, you know?
So how long does it take to, like, let's say that I'm ready right now, so I'll have to wait for, I think I heard you say, you gotta wait on Rick, so he'll be here
Yeah,
tomorrow.
you just need to talk to Rick and say, okay, hey, I wanna get on Opcity, what do I need to do? And I think there's a form that they have you sign, and then you go through a little. I think there's a 2-week training.
Online,
Oh, I think you've probably done, have you done Ignite?
I have,
I think if you
I
had
think
to
that's what
complete
it was.
Ignite to get on Opcity.
Right.
I have
think-
We
that,
made good.
graduated.
Good to go.
So talk to Rick,
And as soon as he turns you on, you could get calls in an hour.
so I
you
can be
know?
ready.
Yeah.
and you too, Abe, if you just talk to Rick and he can get you set up if this is something you want to pursue.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm on Opcity. I just, I'm still working a lot, so I snoozed a lot, so I really haven't gotten to Opcity yet.
Yeah, and once you can fully engage with it, it's productive. I always coach people, be very patient with the leads that you get up front because they are smaller leads, but once you get through those first 3 closings, it really takes off for you.
And see, I'm good with that because
Yeah.
I figured that's a great place to start. I don't have to do the big money yet.
Right.
I'm not
And
ready
we-
for
we
that.
learn.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
Let's do this and.
Have you
start.
gotten any leads yet, Abe?
Yeah, I've gotten like, I've gotten one lead. It was, for $60,000 and I rejected it.
Yeah, I would encourage you to take them if you can. Not that that thrills you or excites you. I mean, nobody gets excited about that, but it can open the door for other things. We had an agent at where we came from before, got a $60,000 lead. She ended up getting 2 listings from that and also another purchase. So it ended up turning into 4 transactions
Mhm.
instead of just the one. That lead's not so good. So
Yeah.
again, not that they're always gonna turn out that way, but she was right spot, right time, and was willing to grab that lead.
I ended up rejecting it because I knew there were no homes that, I mean, just, they don't exist. But I didn't even think about like somebody looking for a plot of land.
Yeah, a lot of times nowadays they're looking for that land. And a lot of times too, they come up as the lot rent, they wanna buy a manufactured home, which we can't do. So those lot rents, it's just, some people like them, some don't, because the average lot rent's anywhere from 800 to 1,000 a month,
More.
or more sometimes.
Mhm.
So when they hear that, it's like, oh, no, but some are okay with that. So, and it's okay, but every manufactured home community is different. And, so you can always, a lot of times we'll point them in a different direction, and we've had a lot of luck with that too. Our last closing was a manufactured home outside of one of those where you actually own the lot. And
Yeah.
it turned out good. Turned out real good. It actually converted to a $250,000 manufactured home,
Mhm.
which wasn't
Nice.
bad. After Opcity and everything, I think the commission ended up being like $2,600, which we'll take those all day long.
Yeah.
So, any other questions? Alice, Abe, anything else? That's pretty much.
I do. Do you remember when you were starting out, how often you were getting leads when you still had rentals on? How often those were coming through?
The actual leads,
Yeah, through Opcity.
yeah, so it seems to be, and we still think that it follows. Some days are just better than others, like I have my day where mine goes off pretty regularly, and then Jamie will have a day, and they seldom go off on the same day. But, in the beginning, once we got through those first 3 leads that we had to work through, sometimes we would get 3, 4, or 5 in a day. And then like last summer, sometimes I was getting 3 or 4 or 5 in an hour. And I was working, I had 6 closings in 1 month, which all came in within an hour.
Wow.
Because we were together, we were showing properties off Opcity. He could take my client and I could run back to the car. So, we're not seeing that right now because things have kind of slowed down, but remember, these are our slower months anyway. So as March, April, and May get here, you're gonna get more leads. And I don't think it mattered that we were new or that we've been in for 3 years now. I think we're gonna get the same amount of leads. I don't think that like we're gonna get 25 and you're gonna get 3. It seems to be this round robin thing. And I don't think it makes that much difference. So I think you're gonna start seeing leads. Just like we were telling Alice, take every one and then figure it out. Grab the lead, talk to the people, see if you can work it. If you can't show that property tomorrow at 10 when they wanted to see it, find out when you can and then call them back and say, hey, it's available at 11. Will that work for you? You know, that kind of thing. So always grab the lead and then figure it out.
And a lot of times you can control the dialogue, you can control the appointment. It's not always has to be at that time in that
They
place.
just had to put a time in.
They just had to put a time or give a time they potentially would like to see it, but every call is different. And that's the key to the whole thing. There's no consistency to it. And as far as who gets the leads when, my phone will go off sometimes and Susan will be sitting right next to me and her phone won't go off at all.
Nope.
And like Regina, she was just here a little bit ago, her phone could go off and our 2 phones don't go off. So there's no rhyme or reason to who gets the leads. It's really the algorithm at opcityrealtor.com on how it gets out. The biggest key is speed to lead. You hear that notification, man, you better get there quick because somebody else is gonna grab it.
We've never figured out the algorithm, but what we have figured out is the more you update, the quicker you grab the lead, the more,
Leads you grab.
yeah, all those things bring your score up. So this 114 that you're looking at on the screen, mine was 113 an hour ago, but I updated. I remembered that we showed properties. So you have your little net.
It shows here, you'll see meeting clients, the arrows
Yes.
pointing up. That's why her score jumped up.
Yes, so we'll tell you what you're doing and what you need to be doing to bring that score up. When I get into the 114, 115, I seem to get better leads. When I drop down into the 113, 112, they seem to slow down a little bit, but it doesn't take much. Just click on that and it will tell you what you need to do to work on. And it's always going to be updating. And again, communicate through their app to your client at least one time. And that will bring the score up as well.
Communication is the key, like with any leads that you have. I don't care if it's Opcity, Command, whatever. If you're communicating and you're working with your leads, Opcity is watching that. They want to see it and they're going to reward you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we can encourage you the most. And again, every lead's different. You just got to work on.
Let's walk
According
through
to-
like a referral. Let's look at a referral. So that's one of mine. I can go back and see all of mine. These are all mine. So if I'm gonna update Kim, which I don't, she's not due for 2 days. This top one is one that's pending. I just closed them. So until they get all the paperwork, it will stay like that. But for Kim, I want to update her. So I can hit update status on the bottom. See where you have spoke, met, offer, contract, and close. If you stay on spoke, and a lot of them are out of state, you can't show them, you can't have met them until you meet them. But we can do virtual tours. So if we go to the property and we do a virtual tour for that client or a Zoom, we've done Zooms, then you can come home and hit met, and then you don't have to put anything in that box. I always do for myself. I do, and I want Opcity to know I really did meet them, and this is the property that we showed. You know, you try and keep that updated, and then you can hit, or you can just skip that and hit update status. I feel like that's lazy. I also feel like every person I update, I try to find a property for them. So I'll go back into my messages, I'll see what she was looking for, I'll go into my hot list, and I'll go in and do a quick search and see if I can find anything that's remotely something I think they would like. And I send it to them. That tells the client that I'm still looking every week. That also tells Opcity I'm looking every week, and then you can keep your notes, and also I keep a notebook. And every property that I send, I write their name, I highlight it, their name in yellow, and I write down every address that I sent to them. So if I go back, like when you're sending condos, you know, I can send 10 or 12 condos. Well, next week, I don't want to send the same 10 or 12 that I already sent. So then I would go on my hot sheet or find a new listing. You know, so I try to really use these like a living and a live lead and keep it updated. If you go behind and it says that it's in red and it says, they'll even send you a text or an email that says you need to update. We are gonna,
Suspend your
suspend
account.
your
if you don't
account.
update.
They don't suspend it. They say that, but jump on those quickly. I try to work a day in advance, but it's very seldom that I
If
do.
it does go past 10 days, they will
Yes.
shut your,
But
they
don't
won't give you any
ever-
more new leads.
Yeah,
And it does hurt the brokerage.
Yeah,
So you
don't
do
ever do
have to
that.
keep up with those leads. And again, just know that I can't stress enough, every lead is different. There's a different time frame. And it changes. I mean, you could have a $400,000 lead come in and it ends up being a $100,000 piece of property. It's fluid. You've got to change with the lead and work with the client accordingly. And the bottom line with Opcity is, again, they just want to see the engagement,
mhm,
just like anything, because they're making millions of dollars off this. We're just one small region out of the whole Realtor.com
Yes.
Opcity portal. So you can imagine this is just a cash cow for them. Because imagine all they have to do is call and get the lead and then flip it to us, which we're happy to get. You've got to
Exactly.
continue to be happy. And then they get paid,
Perfect.
yeah, at closing. Any other questions?
So only pay that fee for the lead on the back end of the transaction after it's done is, you know, amazing.
Yep. And we gotta send the final Alta in, so they'll verify everything. We send that final Alta in, Nicole handles everything here as far as the check, she gives that final disbursement authorization to the title company. Like I said, they'll cut the check to Opcity, they'll cut your check for the commissions, and then Keller gets their check. So there's basically 3 checks that come from that closing. And again, Nicole's great at doing that. Once everything's been verified in your deal, that you've got all the documents that you're supposed to have, it's been approved, all that good stuff. And since we've been here, we've had 2 close through Opcity, and again, it's been seamless. Nicole's been fantastic and good stuff.
if you go to your home screen. And then, so you hit your home screen and then touch where it has your score, the 114, that will tell you, it goes to a screen that tells you what you need to work on. And where your weaknesses are, because this is all about that score, that 114 score or whatever, you want to get that as high as you can and keep it that way. This will tell you what you can do, you can click on it, you can look at what it's saying. 72%, usually meeting clients is my lowest, and that's because my clients are out of state. So the sooner you can get a virtual tour on a property and send to them, then you can say that you met them. Opcity did tell us we could do that, so that's not something we're making up.
Yeah, so like you said, it could be a virtual, could be a Zoom, could be anything. As long as you take them through, it does count as being met. One thing I'd like to point out, you'll see down where it says claiming leads, 92% attempted to claim. That's better than 99% of Opcity agents. And that's why Susan has had so much success there, because she is claiming so many leads.
On the contacting referrals, the one right above that, you see I'm only at 67%. That is because I wasn't using their app. I was using my phone, my cell phone, and then I get busy and I move on to the next thing. It's better if you use their app. And let me show you how you do that, or what that looks like. If you go back to home or go to referrals, so Ken Samstrom, click on her name or their name. It says message with inbox. You want to click that, and this happens in the first 2 weeks. You want to use that box, and then you can send them a message. This is a message they've sent through Opcity, but you want to catch that as soon as you hang up the phone. Send your business card through the phone.
Your cell phone.
Yeah, your cell phone, your business card. We took a picture of our business card and we send the business card. It has all the information. Go right back to that app and communicate, send text message right there. and communicate something, anything. Just send them a message through that thing and say, hey, I just sent my business card, be on the lookout for it. That way, that satisfies, Opcity, and they have all your information. They will probably communicate back through this, so if your thing goes off again, you're gonna run like your pants are on fire, only to find out it's a message. But that's okay. You just want to satisfy Opcity. I'm not as good as that with that as I should be. My score could be a little higher if I did that.
Just to add to that, here's the challenge that you have. Opcity gives you a separate phone number for that.
Mhm,
So it's gonna look like you have two phone numbers.
mhm.
So that's why we text from our regular cell phone, because we want them to have our phone number. We want them to have our business card. But more importantly, and one thing we've had some success with Command is sending them our app. It gives you a chance to send them to the app for Command. And so they can be logged as your client. So they can start searching for properties, but I also tell them, I can't start sending you properties until you download that and accept it. And I've had some great success there because now they're connected to me, they're branded to me, and then we can send them listings accordingly. And it's worked out pretty well. And they're accepting that and downloading the app, so that gets them into Command, and now we've got some active dialogue going on. I can see what they're looking at, I can see what they're searching for. So it's not just the Opcity app now, they're actually on the Keller Williams app, which is fantastic.
And if they say, hey, I would like to see such and such address, say, sure, let me set up an appointment. I immediately send them the listing to that address. So I do send it outside of Command to get them started and say there's a lot more apps, and my website is very easy to use. I'm gonna send you an app for you to use it, and then I'll be able to send you things through that, which is easier for you to search and easier for you to receive. But in the meantime, we do send
We're
them
almost done.
other things outside of Command, just to get them started. So we can and do send them the other way. But as soon as they, if they're lazy about joining the Command, I don't want to lose the client because they didn't want to do that, So,
The key is getting them branded to
Yes.
us, and that's why we want to get them the Keller Williams app.
So pretty much you respond back through Opcity.
for the,
Okay,
For the
but
first
then
one.
you send your,
all my information
after
private.
that, then you
Mhm.
send them the business card and then you go ahead and forward them your app.
Yep, and explain the app. Yeah, this is the easiest way. Furthermore, they can look at all listings everywhere is what I say. So they're not limited to Volusia County. You can see all listings everywhere if you search through this app,
Right. 'Cause you
and
might-
get accurate information. You're not saying that these other, Zillow and all that's inaccurate, but what you're saying is you'll get the most up-to-date, accurate information on all listings everywhere. And that's why we wanted to use the app. And then you're a client, they're stuck in there, so.
They get branded to you,
Yeah,
right.
which is critical. And I tell them our app's much better
It is.
because you're gonna be able to see everything in this
Right.
area instead of having to pick through and trying to find that.
And then find it somewhere on Stellar or,
Mhm.
something, and then they miss that because they're looking at,
There's
our
in Stellar,
MLS.
not in Daytona.
Yes,
Like
so-
what I have.
Right, so if we use our app, they see all of them. They don't miss anything. So that's why we like to do that.
And we know how extensive the Keller Williams app is, so it
Mhm.
makes it really good.
Mhm.
Any other questions, comments?
Excuse me. When you're starting off, before Opcity recognizes you as an experienced agent, like before you have those first 3 closings, so you're still gonna have rentals on, you're gonna have rentals turned on. When you have somebody looking for rental, are you gonna be going around with them apartment searching basically?
Now, typically you want to partner up with somebody that likes to do rentals.
Mhm.
So we don't turn it on. They don't make you turn rentals on right off the start. That's one thing you don't have to take.
Right. But
They-
my understanding is
That
that
option.
those are gonna come through quicker when you're first starting out, just to get those first transactions
Yeah.
done. Most of the experienced people will turn those off once they get their first 3.
Right,
But it's always good to try. In the worst case, you release them back, which doesn't hurt you either.
but you're claiming, so that brings your score up. You're responding, so that brings your score up.
Yep.
And you're trying to convert them to a buy lead, so hopefully, and it does happen. It happens more frequently than that someone comes in as a rental, they ended up buying something. and they paid less per month for their mortgage than they did for their rent. So it does happen more frequently than you, if you've worked through all that, you absolutely can. I keep those on for 2 to 3 weeks, you know, and I keep communicating with them. Cause you want them still to get sticky. Maybe they're gonna be a renter and they're not gonna buy, they still know people. That's the thing, is they know people. That's a referral for you, even if you couldn't help them. And, you know, honestly, it might be worth it to try to help them, just to make them more sticky, you know?
Yeah,
So what if you
and
don't?
because rentals are so high right now,
Yeah,
we had a rental where they were willing to pay $2,500 a month, their mortgage payment on it would have only been $2,000 a month, that's a drastic difference.
right, and so
And they didn't realize that their credit was as in good a shape as
Right.
they thought. So it's always good to at least have them talk to a mortgage person and see what they qualify for, if anything.
did you have a question?
Yeah, I just have never looked at rentals. How would you know what to do with a rental?
You gotta partner with somebody that likes to take them. If you
Yeah.
don't have somebody to partner with, then don't bother.
Yeah, but you
Okay,
can go on Realtor.com and look up rent.
Yeah.
And you can find them for them.
It just takes a little bit more work.
But
Okay,
you're
because
not-
I never even really wanted to do that.
Rentals is a whole nother ballgame.
I don't know how they pay out though, I don't know how.
There's
I would be excited about them if the commissions on them weren't like $25.
exactly,
Rental listings, the commissions are ridiculously stupidly low.
yes,
$25, $50.
yeah. It's again, a good way to cut your teeth, but not something you wanna just continue to do.
No,
So what do you do? Take it and really you can't help them with a
Just
rental.
release it back.
I
So
would
you'd
really-
still try,
I would still try.
you'd still take it and
So
talk
in
to
your
them.
mind, how can I get sticky to this person?
Mhm.
Maybe not, I don't know if I'll be able to find a rental, but how can they be a referral for me? How can they get sticky? What if they're,
Ask them what
you
they're
know,
looking for. and
they're
all
a
that.
nurse at the hospital? How many nurses do you think they know? You know, and then there's programs, you
Mhm.
know,
First time home.
first time
buyers.
home buyers, the
How-
Heroes
how it
program.
goes.
There's so many programs. We can convert a lot of those with the Heroes program. What's your job? That's what you ask them. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a nurse, I'm a teacher, I'm a what? Did you know that there's programs for you? And get them in touch with a mortgage person as soon as you can. If it doesn't work out, you really did try to help them. They're gonna
And so
remember you.
lose it. Mhm.
Put them in your CRM. Send them the same stuff you send everybody else, even though they signed a year rental lease.
In a year. they
Treat
might
them
buy.
like, yep, treat them like they're your client. Send them stuff, call them on their birthday or whatever you do for your clients.
And some of them might need credit repair.
Yeah.
Hook them up with a credit
Yeah.
repair person. In 6 months, they might get their credit back in shape and be able to buy a house.
Right? Again, they know people.
Right.
I mean, the sky's the limit on how far you
Okay.
can take it.
So that makes sense. So I would take those because that's like, well, I don't know how
Take
to
them.
find a rental.
Especially right now, take them and
But
say,
ask them real quick,
Yeah.
have you considered purchasing?
I'm more, yeah. I have
Yeah,
no
Just
say.
ask that question, make sure that part of your initial conversation.
yeah,
But also, it's like people that aren't pre-qualified to buy a house and they wanna see houses. Maybe show them one, get sticky, and then it's like, okay, we've seen one, let's get you pre-qualified, so we know what you can afford. You might be able to afford more house. It could be less house,
Mhm.
mhm,
but let's see what you qualify for, because you don't wanna show a bunch of houses and at the end of the day, find out they're not even pre-qualified. But our rule is we'll show one, and then we'll have the conversation about being pre-qualified. And then you can always bring in the buyer broker agreement also, where they sign the buyer broker agreement and get sticky to you.
or meet with a mortgage person. Hey, would you like to go show this house with me this afternoon? I
Call
have
Justin.
someone, yeah, do it. If you can get somebody to go with you, once you get them in the house, now you can get sticky. Now they see you, now you're talking to them. They'll be a lot stickier when you meet them, you know, and then they will on the phone, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Yep.
They're gone. You're gonna
Well,
lose them, you know,
You did that.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you show up and, you know, show them the house, what do you like about it, you know, blah, blah, blah. Have you considered the pre-qualification? And a lot of them will say, I don't want them to hit my credit
And it won't.
until I've looked at houses and say, it won't let me get you in touch with a mortgage person. Hey, hang on just a second. Hey, Mr. Mortgage Person, I have someone here. They're concerned about blah, 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 blah. You know, I would like to send them to you. Would this be a good, you know, fit? Can you speak with them? Maybe they can talk to them right then. And maybe you can get answers right now, you know, at least to get them enough that they'll do the app, you know, and work through it. So if you go to the house and show them, a lot of these agents are like, I'm not showing them nothing until I have a pre-qualification, then you can lose them. you know, get sticky, and you get so much stickier when you show up and they're excited. Oh my gosh, oh, this living room is, I love that fireplace, you know, or this is has so much character. Oh, do you like character in homes? Yeah, there's a lot in downtown Daytona that has a lot of character. I could show you some beautiful homes. One I just saw, blah, blah, get sticky, find out what they like, you know,
It just gives you the opportunity to get warm and
and
fuzzy
build a
with it.
relationship.
And then you're a golden man, because then you could ask them to get pre-qualified. You could ask that, you could ask that.
Then they want to do things for you.
Yeah, they want to do business with you.
They don't know you. You're a stranger in the meantime. They're not telling people their business. And people are, the more and more as these generations go on, those people are closed off. They're not telling you their business. But when you meet them and you have a very good energy about you, you know, people relax and then they want to tell you everything, you know.
Because on the phone, you're just another salesperson
Right.
to them.
Exactly,
so-
somebody tried to take advantage of you.
Yeah, yes,
Or a scam.
exactly. That's what they feel.
Any other questions? No?
Okay.
Well, guys, I hope this was helpful, and you do well with Opcity, because it's a great opportunity.
We're always here.
Yeah,
We'll always
Absolutely.
answer questions,
That's awesome.
always.
That was awesome. Thanks for taking the
Yeah,
time.
you're
Awesome
welcome.
class, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was perfect because they're recording this, so we'll be able to.
Use that.
Mhm.
Wade, have a good day.
Thanks for letting me join on Zoom.
Yeah, if you
Thank
need any
you.
help, just let us know.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, have a